Catus Maximus here. Figured I'd make a quick video about 5 pliers you need to have in your toolbox to really get the job done. Probably the 5 individual pliers that you're most likely to be successful with. Of course, needle nose pliers. Preferably, I like a larger set of pliers because then in most situations where you're using pliers, having shorter ones doesn't make as much of a difference as having larger ones, which are just heavier duty, thicker. You can get more pressure because you have longer handles. You can get 2 hands on them. Brands, I do recommend decent quality like Vise-Grips or channel locks. These 2 sets of pliers are Kleins. And this is a set of parallel jaw pliers. But once again, needle nose pliers. The second one would be linesman's pliers. Just because if you want just a nice heavy-duty set of pliers, you can get a set of 8-inch. You have nice cutters on them. You can really get just a lot of pressure. Nice ones have nice wide handles. And for general purpose grabbing on stuff, these are pretty much the go-to style. You want an adjustable set of pliers. That way you can have jaws that are relatively parallel, but you can put them in different positions, even large ones. These are a pretty short set of channel locks. And you use water pump pliers. There's all sorts of different jaw shapes in each of these plier styles, like slip joint pliers. But they're really most versatile for just grabbing a hold. A lot of times with working with plumbing fittings, that type of stuff. Good old Vise-Grip locking pliers. Really an absolute staple because you have just a huge amount of leverage, and then they stay gripped, whatever you're gripping. You can put them on grip them onto an end of a bolt and then take another set of pliers and twist them. They work better on round objects than say pliers like this particular straight jaw set of channel locks. It's just say compared to lineman's pliers, you just don't have anywhere near like the jaw surface area. And these are just the standard shaped jaws, but of course with Vise-Grips there's all sorts of other jaw shapes. And finally would be parallel pliers, just because these things can be just super handy. This is an old set. Lang Tools USA makes some. Stahlwill, a German company, makes some Vise-Grip style parallel jaw pliers. But if you want to do something, say grab a hold of a Sawzall blade, these things are excellent because then they're gripping along the whole surface, and so this blade doesn't actually really want to rock back and forth. Actually, it's really handy because you have the tang there, so you can do a situation where you can actually use a Sawzall blade for certain situations just by hand, which is something that you couldn't do with any of these other pliers. You couldn't have any hope of gripping it hard enough with these type of pliers, and with all the Vise-Grips, they would only be holding on to a point. So there's a big deal with parallel jaw pliers for those types of applications. These happen to be locking. Another advantage to them is when you have exposed fastener heads, they work really well. Had to get those adjusted, but once again, these have an extra linkage on the bottom versus what a Vise-Grip has. These style are much weaker, whether it's these old BMCs or you get some new Lang or Stahlwills. The nature of having the second linkage and really relying on the body to keep the lower jaw under control makes them not very good in twisting situations. They generally aren't quite as strong as a regular set of Vise-Grips, but they give you the advantage of they are strong and turning. Is say like on a bolt, we can grab a hold of a bolt and you're pretty much flat on both the sides, so it's like a locking adjustable wrench, but with teeth, so you can use it as regular pliers, but just a huge advantage. If you have a rusty fastener or what have you, you can lock on, break the bolt, and then all you have to do is just relieve some of the pressure, and then you can just use these just like a regular open-end wrench in either direction. So parallel jaw pliers are pretty cool. Anyway, just wanted to do a video on my choice for 5 pliers. If I only had 5 pliers in the toolbox, these 5 would be it. I'd be able to get the absolute largest number of different jobs and tasks accomplished with just these 5 sets of pliers. All sorts of other types of pliers and jaw shapes, etc. But they tend to be more specialized for certain situations versus these 5, which will just pretty much, you can pretty much fix anything with these 5 pliers. Anyway, I really appreciate everybody who's been watching and subscribing, and if you haven't subscribed, please do. Till next time, Catus Maximus out.